Here we are with our next instalment of the Red Sofa interviews with Mr. Paul Pickford. Afternoon, Paul.
Afternoon, Nick.
Thanks for popping in, mate. Right, let's get straight into it. Who is Mr. P?
Who's Mr. P? He's an EHS. He's an EHS coordinator for a health safety guy for an aerospace company, local aerospace company. He's a middle of the pack runner. I think the other questions will be answered in a minute. And that's it. Married with 2 kids.
That's important.
That's me. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Have you always been a runner?
No, I haven't. I started running when the children were born because I was kind of obese, very close to morbidly obese.
Okay.
High blood pressure issues and things like that that some people suffer from. Then decided to turn it around. Didn't want to be a fat dad. Started running when my son was about 1.
Okay, that explains your motivation then. You recently won a silver medal with your partner at the Transplant Games in Liverpool, is that right?
Liverpool, yeah.
Tell me a bit about that. Was that good for you?
It was good. It was very different. Being somebody that runs long distance, it was very different to see this activity. Transplant Games, very very different scenarios because the guys that run it, they're living with other people's body parts. It's hard work for them. It's a totally different kind of setup. And for the guy that I was running with, he also has he's visually impaired, so that was why I was guide running for this guy. He did very well. It's obviously a battle every day for these guys with taking tablets to stop things getting disrespected, thrown out of their bodies and things like that. So I think he did really well to get where he got.
Absolutely. And what prompted you to get involved?
I got introduced to this guy a few years ago, and we've been trying to plot to do something ever since. I tried to cycle, we're trying to do a few things, but this is what he done, but he wanted to go for a longer distance, so we decided to give that a go.
Fantastic, really good. And it was a very successful games by all accounts.
Thank you.
How would people get involved in this type of thing? Were they wanting to do so?
Okay, so I know that there's a local guy to us by the name of Jeff Clark. He's involved heavily with the Blind Association and things like that, so that kind of thing. But I think local clubs now, they recognise things like that and requirements. I saw just the other day an ultra race where a blind lady was asking for support, so it's out there.
Oh, good. Well, that's good that the support is there and growing. You're often seen towing a large tyre when you run. Where did that idea come from?
Okay, it is a bit of a silly idea, but a couple of years ago when I decided to start running 100 milers and sort of big time ultra runs, if you haven't got the time to go for a 6, 7, 8 hour run, it seemed to me to make sense to make the run harder. So why not strap a tyre to it? Okay. And that's the whole beast of it. When in experience, once I've got to the 85, 90 mile an hour mark on a long run, that's when you kind of dig in deep, you realise it's still not as tough as dragging a 4x4 tyre along, and you can get the job done. That's how I do it.
Okay, we'll wrap it up shortly, but we shouldn't really fail to mention some of your achievements. What's the furthest you've run, or the most difficult race you've run?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I suppose most difficult in my entire running was probably the Marathon des Sables, but closely followed by things such as the Centurion 100 miler, the first one I did last year, the Ridgeway, because that was horrible, and without the experience necessarily to be able to cope with it. This year was a little easier because you learn, you know exactly what you need. You're always woefully unprepared for these things, so you get used to it. So.
No, well, it's certainly commendable. Something I certainly don't want to ever try and do. What's your favourite film?
Favourite film? Star Wars.
Oh, really? Was that easy?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, I really appreciate you popping in, and thanks for your time.
No worries, thank you.